Hi guys, welcome back to the Pop Culture PhD. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of an overview and review of the Namor the Submariner Omnibus, written and with artwork by John Byrne, as well as artwork by Jay Lee. I have the basic cover for this book. There is a direct market variant as well. Mine has a John Byrne cover with Namor in his traditional costume, with his traditional haircut. The variant cover looks at Namor with a sort of much more 90s style costume and appearance. I was happy to get this one, but a lot of people like to get their direct market variant covers. So this is the front cover for the dust jacket. It's well done, like most Marvel Omnibus. Let's turn it around, have a look at the spine. So looking at the spine, we can see that we've got the same title, the green color on the spine. We don't have a black spine, it's got a white spine. It's got both creators' names, as well as the variant cover style Namor here with the long hair, which is much more 90s than the traditional on the front cover. And let's turn it around so that we can see the back of the book. Now, because this is an older run from the early 90s, I believe, we get the covers, the thumbnails of all the covers of each series on the back, which is a really traditional thing for Marvel Omnibus. And it's really cool to see all of those covers for each of those series. So we can see most of the covers are for the Namor series itself, but we do have some issues of Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, and Hulk, which round out a crossover event that we can find inside the book. And it comes with a $125 US cover price. You'd be doing well to find it anywhere near that in Australia. So let's take off the dust jacket and remove that. All right, we can see the back cover straight away. It's got Namor riding a great big sort of whale creature blowing into his conch shell horn. Okay, in New York in his traditional outfit. We turn the book over and we've basically just got the front cover of the dust jacket imprinted on the hardcover. I like the Marvel covers these days that pretty much every omnibus comes with printed covers, not black faux leather like they used to. And the spine of the spine is pretty much exactly the same as the dust jacket spine. Now, like always, even though I have read this book already, I try to model the way that people should open their omnibus the first time. So we should open our Omni by putting both of the covers flat and then just opening it a few pages at a time so we can work in the spine. Now, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly for the sake of the review, and I've already read this book, so it's well and truly been worked in. But it's always good to practice what you preach. So, this book, when it lies flat like this, it doesn't really have much of an eye hole. If I hold it up to show, it's got a little bit of an eye at the bottom, but it does open up perfectly, and you have pretty much no gutter loss when you're looking through this book, okay? You can see all of the artwork nicely, and there is a lot of really great artwork in here by a few different creators. So, let's close it up and open it from the beginning. We've got our blue bookend pages, which makes sense. He's a marine-based character. Title page, nice John Byrne artwork of Namor. And again, we've got our creators on the left-hand side, all the people we have to thank for bringing this wonderful book to us. And another nice big splash page of John Byrne's artwork. Beautiful contents page, which we love to see in a book like this, especially since it's a large book, it's got a lot of issues. This is quite a big omnibus for Marvel, going all the way up to over 1,146 pages. And then we dive straight into the first issue. Now, I would say about 3/4, 2/3 of this book is John Byrne doing both artwork and writing, And I definitely prefer these earlier issues where we've got John Byrne doing both things, okay? I really enjoyed his art. I first got into John Byrne working through his Fantastic Four run, which I have both the omnibus of that as well. And spinning out of that, I really grew to appreciate John Byrne's artwork, as I wasn't a fan of older comics originally, but that sort of turned me around. So as we look through, this is fantastic work from John Byrne. He's really perfected his craft by this point in the early 90s, as he's done art on his Fantastic Four run, as well as some of the Claremont X-Men issues. So, yes, we've got a lot of fantastic artwork to look at. The stories in this omnibus are, Namor is sort of, he's operating more as a CEO of a company, as well as doing traditional superhero stuff. So he sort of comes to a bit of a conflict with a few characters that have a rival company. So during the 1990s, a lot more environmental awareness was starting to happen among people. So Namor sort of takes a role as trying to protect the ocean from pollution and other companies that are looking to profiteer off it, as well as trying to take a role of protecting the savage land in some of the storylines as well. He does cross over a little bit with the Fantastic Four, which we can see here. So that's a return to form for John Byrne. Also features some Iron Man, and some of the other Marvel characters appear as well. He's got Namor's cousin Namorita, and she ends up getting a little bit of a new backstory to her throughout this omnibus, and is quite a good character. We've got the Mars brother and sister, who are the head of the Mars Corporation, who are sort of Namor's rivals in his financial side of things. We get appearances from the original Defenders, so we get the original Human Torch, and we get Captain America as well. And there's some good old-fashioned Nazi punching goes on in some of these issues as well, which we can sort of see here. We can see some of his Nazi enemies here. A big swastika in the middle of this guy's shirt here. These were really good issues with fantastic artwork. I love the artwork, and I really like the World War II slant and Namor punishing Nazis for their evils. We do get some issues where this one's a flashback to World War II, where Namor and the Defenders are defending the Potsdam Conference from some fictional elements. And we do get some different artists come along. John Byrne, in my opinion, is the best, but the other people all do their work competently as well. We've got some Thor there in the courtroom. Let's keep going through. As we move through the run a lot more, we get some more of the stuff in Atlantis and Atlantean politics, which I didn't love, but it's still enjoyable. At no point does the book become unenjoyable. We get some Iron Fist, and we get some Skrulls. And as you can see, we're nearly halfway through the omnibus, and we're still on John Byrne art. Alright, this is where we get the crossover, and we've got some characters like Hulk and Doctor Strange appearing. These issues were still quite enjoyable. I liked them. Maybe not quite as good as the actual Namor run, but still definitely enjoyable comics. Let's keep going. Still getting some more John Byrne. We get some crossover with Wolverine, which is really cool. It's great to see John Byrne drawing so many different characters in the one run. We get a little bit more Doctor Strange. And we're almost towards the end of John Byrne's run on artwork. He continues to write for a little while, and then someone else will take over writing duties as well before the end of the Omni. Okay, so looking here, This is our first issue where we've got art by Jay Lee. And we can see the Namor redesign here and the new name, the Savage Namor. So this is where we're getting towards our little bit later in the 90s, 1992. Things are starting to get a little bit more extreme. So the art by Jay Lee is still pretty cool as well. It's very different to Jay Lee's more modern art style, which you see in his Batman Superman comics from the New 52, for example, or Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4 by Grant Morrison. So his older style is sort of much more traditional, much more 90s, but it's still good, still enjoyable. John Byrne is still writing at this point, but we can see how everything's just a lot more 90s-ized here. And I personally prefer John Byrne's art to this style, but it doesn't really hamper the story at all. And then as we go through, we will get on to the point where the writing duties change as well. Let's see if I can find one of those issues before we finish the review. So I think that, I know John Byrne's still writing here. Let's keep going through. You get some good artwork of Dr. Doom. And John Byrne's still going, which is good. The more John Byrne we get, the better. But we can see the art style is getting sort of even more 90s, extreme musculature on the characters. Dr. Doom has one of the biggest capes I've seen outside of McFarlane's Spawn. And there's a lot more of an underwater focus to these stories, whereas John Byrne's stuff was much more Namor on the land. So by now we've got to Bob Harris is the writer. So John Byrne's totally disappeared, and in my opinion these issues were competent, but the magic was sort of gone. They were definitely not as enjoyable as before. And yeah, this storyline focuses basically all on Atlantis and some characters from the past in Atlantis. And while competent, I do think it detracts from the Omnibus a little bit. If it was up to me, I would have made it slightly smaller and a bit cheaper, and I would have probably cut these last 200 pages or so out. But that's just my opinion. Some people might have a totally different opinion. And we're getting towards the back now, so let's have a look at any back matter that we've got. I believe we have quite a bit of back matter for this omnibus. Let's get to the back. All right, so back matter. We have some Marvel Age, okay, some Marvel Age covers from when the series began. I do love this John Byrne version of Namor in the suit. Okay, he's high finance Namor. And then we've got some articles from Marvel Age from back in the day, which is good reading. It's always good to get insight into what the creators were thinking, and just as a historical time capsule for what comics were like in these times. So we've got some sort of makeshift news articles about Namor. We've got a pretend advertisement here, which this really shows Namor as the capitalist, but working to clean up the act of the company rather than pollution, which a lot of the other characters that are in finance in this series are really more worried about their back pocket than what they're going to do to the environment, which is still very relevant to today's, this is a topic that's relevant to today. So as we keep going through, we get some Marvel swimsuit covers, which this is a very 90s thing to have a look at. Not really my thing, but people back then must have been into it. And we've got some great Jay Lee pinups. The same cover from the front of the omnibus here, from one of the trades that was collecting this material previously. And then we've got the original Defenders here in this cover, and this is the back cover of the omnibus here. Then we get into the Jay Lee stuff. This one here is the cover of the direct market version, so it's Namor wearing a much more 90s inspired suit of armor than just his DTs. And Namor over here, that's the Savage Namor #1 cover, I think, used as a variant. And then on the back here, we've got the original Defenders. Sorry, not the original Defenders. Maybe the original Defenders, sorry, I'm not sure about that. And then we've got blue cover pages at the back, and that's it. So all in all, I would give this omnibus about an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed John Byrne's work, and then as the book progressed after, say, the first 2/3, I started to enjoy it less and less. But because the first major portion is so strong, I would still give it an 8 out of 10 overall. So thank you for tuning into the channel once again. There will be more omnibus overviews in the future. If you've seen my collection video, let me know what you'd like me to do. I've read a very big portion of my collection. If I haven't read it yet though, good news. As soon as I finish reading each book, I'm going to be doing one of these videos. So thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.